TPC River-highlands in Cromwell. Here's Rob Dibble.
They have 363 runs that they've scored this season. So the New York Yankees, they are bottom feeders when it comes to hitting the baseball. Without Aaron Judge, no go, no wins, no life. It's a rough watch. And listen, my wife's a Red Sox fan. She loves this. But it's like, a guy like Aaron Boone or Brian Cashman may lose their job because the way they constructed this lineup, and that's Brian Cashman in the analytics department, the way they constructed a lineup of guys that are swing as hard as they can, strike out 12 to 15 times collectively a game, hit 220 as a team, don't even have a 300 on-base percentage. That means if you had over 300 on-base percentage, that means you're taking walks too. They don't even take walks. So that's why the New York Yankees are so horrible right now, because their approach at the plate is as bad as I've seen since the 80s.
Well, this is a collective thing, and this isn't today. This isn't this
weekend.
It's
been 80 games.
It's been more than 80 games.
Yep.
I can bring you back to – remember old days when Gary Sanchez was at the plate hitting 300, and then something happened. Something happened during an off season with this guy. There's other guys that you can point to as well. Giancarlo. Giancarlo was not only a slugger hitting 50 home runs a year, but this is also a guy with a pretty good on-base percentage, a very good eye at the plate, and a guy who doesn't really swing and miss. This guy's missing fastballs down the heart of the zone. I don't want to throw all the blame on the actual player. I got to think that this analytic department, which the Yankees have a full building of analytic nerds, has something to do with the offensive production not named Aaron Judge. But it was a travesty over the weekend to get swept, and then you've got a bunch of guys in that lineup for the New York Yankees. I don't know where you play them. I don't know where you put them, but there's a lot that are making some serious coin. You got to do something with them.
I want to know how Willie Calhoun, Cabrera, Volpe are still playing at this moment. Because you're almost halfway through the schedule. I don't care what Hal Steinbrenner says. My job depends on guys hitting at least 200, 220. They're not doing that. He's not the greatest fielder in the world. Kiner Falefa, who's still on your roster, was a Gold Glover. I don't care if he was a Gold Glover 3 years ago. Last year he was not. Last year he was terrible in a Yankee uniform. Not everybody deserves to wear the Yankee pinstripes. So that's something, if you watch the stuff on HBO where they're talking about this, where George Steinbrenner every year would be like, listen, you put that uniform on. It's tradition,
right? And
it's every time you step on that field, you're expected to win, and that's not what they're doing right now. And so when you have an analytics department, they don't deserve to work for the Yankees front office, just as much as some of these guys don't deserve to put that pinstripes on. So right now, the Yankees, the conundrum is you have a lot of mediocre talent running out there as Yankees. They're not Yankees. They're mediocre major league talent, should probably be in the minor leagues or playing for a team like the Kansas City Royals. But, I look at the Yankees as royalty, Dodgers, even the Red Sox and the Mets. And you run out some of these guys that are mediocre, and now all of a sudden the owner's got to be questioning who made those decisions. And they're not going to fire the analytics nerds.
Right.
They're going to fire Cashman. They're going to fire Aaron Boone. And because they can't get rid of Stanton. You owe Stanton through 2029. You owe him another $80 million.
Right.
So I mean, when I'm looking at this product, I see a lousy approach at the plate. I see a lot of guys that are underachieving. Listen, I watched Severino's start, horrible. I watched Germán, horrible. But again, now you've got questionable catchers that you're running out there. Higashioka is a backup. Okay, so when you start running out your backups as starters, and even Sanchez was a terrible defensive catch. I didn't mind him calling games. I thought he was pretty decent. It reminded me of Mike Piazza, where they're working hard, they're getting the most out of their pitching staff. You're not even doing that anymore. So you're giving up a lot of runs. Your bullpen is taxed. They're killing the bullpen right now. The Michael Kings and guys like that are really quality all-star arms. And at the end of the day, you got nothing to show for it. So you get your butts whipped by the Red Sox, somebody's head would have fallen back in the 80s and 90s under George Steinbrenner.
The main reason I made the prediction on Friday was the 1 through 5 that I saw the lineup on Friday night that was going to start off with Verdugo going into Justin Turner, into Devers.
It's pretty solid.
Adam Duvall now in the cleanup spot.
Well, that was a huge get back.
Huge get back. And it splits things up a little bit and allows Yoshida to fall in that 5 spot, which I think he's so dangerous at more in the middle of the lineup than he is the top. Obviously top heavy, but still that 1 through 5 was a gauntlet for Yankee pitching to get by. And even talking about, I thought that's what won the series. That was top part of that lineup for the Boston Red Sox offense. I would argue that the Red Sox pitching isn't anything to call the all-star voting on. Like, the Yankees aren't doing this against Cy Young contenders. I thought Bayo looked decent, has some decent stuff still, maybe the best in that rotation. I like how they're moving Pivetta back, not making him a starter. They did the whole opener role on Sunday, game 1. And I just thought they had a heck of a game plan, and it really got brought upon with that hitting from 1 through 5.
But listen, Ort started for the Red Sox on that first game of the doubleheader. He went 2 1/3. Murphy threw really well. He went 2 2/3. Then, like you said, Pivetta came in, gave you 3 solid middle innings. Clark Schmidt started for the Yankees. He couldn't even get 15 outs on 84 pitches. That's god-awful. So then Michael King comes in. He's pitching every day, every other day. He's dog-tired. He gives up 3 earned runs and gets the loss. And his ERA went up to 2.82. But, again, he's not going to say, Coach, I can't throw today. He's going to do whatever Aaron Boone needs him. And this is a problem that these analytics people don't know halfway through the year, June, July. Your body's not the same as it was coming out of spring training. You're not fresh anymore. You've got a lot of nagging injuries and things like that. Not even injuries, just pains. Your elbow's barking a little bit. Your shoulder's a little tired. You're trying to lift up a half gallon of milk, and you can't even hold it up because you're not strong enough. And you could be like me, 6'4", 230. Your arm tells you how strong you are as a baseball player. So when I tell you about arm injuries, I'm telling you about a lot of these guys. They're taxed right now. And when you play in the postseason, like a lot of these teams too, your arms don't recover as easily. So the Red Sox right now, they've got a lot of younger arms that they're able to run out there in the middle innings. They've already gotten rid of Brazier and a bunch of other guys that they'd worn out over the last 2 years. Yeah. And if you look at a lot of these teams, they've worn out a lot of their relievers. And the Mets are going through this right now with the Edwin Diaz injury because, like I said earlier, and if you go back 2 months, everybody has to step up their role. Now, if I was a 5th and 6th inning guy or even the 7th inning guy, I'm the 8th inning guy now.
Right.
And if you were the 8th inning guy, you're Dave Robertson, you're now the closer. And it's like it's not that much pressure, but you're going to throw more often. You're going to warm up more often in closer games. And so a lot of these guys, the wear and tear, you don't see it on a day-to-day basis unless you go through the box scores.
Right.
And that's where I see the Michael Kings and these other guys, Peralta, and a lot of these Yankees that you run out there 4 out of 7 days. Come July, they're going to be tired, man. And to think that Severino and Germán and Schmidt and your mainstay Garrett Cole aren't going 6 innings because some nerd 10 years ago said a quality start is a 4.5 ERA through 6 innings.
Right.
3 earned runs. That's crap. That's garbage. So your garbage, the way you started this 10 years ago, we're starting to see it now. You're starting to see starters go less and less, still throwing 100 pitches, and now you can't get 15 outs? So now someone's got to get the final 12 outs. I see it every day. I see it at the lower levels, but now when you're seeing it at the big league level, and now you can't cover your butt because you're scoring less than a run every time out there without Judge because Judge is such a monster, and he carries 20-25% of your offense. The Yankees are they're a miserable bunch right now.
And it's only June. We're talking about
it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
Yep.
And they should know better because it feels like we're having this conversation June, July, every single year in the last 5 or 6 years with the New York Yankees. Before we move on with any more baseball, the U.S. Open I thought was fantastic. Congratulations, Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham with the victory.
He's not as snooty as
He's
imagined.
more of a rural cowboy. He's a Colorado kid. And
cowboy golfer.
Yeah, he's a cowboy golfer.
If he would wear a cowboy hat and change his name to Russell or something
That's
like
right.
that.
Russell.
I thought
How about Cash?
Yeah,
Cash Clark would be good.
Wow, I like Cash Clark.
Cash Clark sounds like a guy from Yellowstone going to come whip some butt
Well,
and maybe break a bad horse in his spare time.
maybe we'll get to talk to Wyndham today or this week. Wyndham Clark,
You
not
said
today.
not today. He's not here
Right.
till Wednesday because he's got to do all the late night shows.
So it's very interesting how it works out this year, as the U.S. Open was just in L.A. Country Club, all the way in Los Angeles, all the way in California. So they're going to have to take that long flight across the country to get to Cromwell, Connecticut for the Travelers Championship
That's
this
5
week.
hours on a private jet. Come
But
on.
still, think about it, man. I mean, you were playing, like, for all those who made the cut that had to play Saturday and Sunday,
Yep.
I mean, that tournament doesn't get over till about 9 o'clock our time.
And the guys that didn't make the cut at the U.S. Open are here already.
They're already been here.
They're out here using new putters,
as
trying
soon
to
as
get
they
ready
could
for the
get out
Travelers.
here, like 5 a.m., they've been out here.
Hey, you got a shot at $3 million this week, bro.
For sure. Take as many practice shots as you possibly can. That's what I would be doing. But players like Wyndham won't get here until we've heard Wednesday. Rory McIlroy might be here tomorrow. You got some bug situation?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was biting me, but
Already got some bug situation
he's
out
dead.
here day one on the Travelers. Now, we also had some, while we were starting the show, we had kind of a pit crew in here. I thought they were going to
What were they going to do, change us out?
we got a middle pylon, too. By the way, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
looks like it's failing.
If you – no.
I'm kidding.
If you come out to
I think OSHA needs to come out here and check this out.
that might have been who it was. The Travelers Championship, obviously TPC River-highlands, as it always is in Cromwell, Connecticut. If you're at the tournament, please stop by and say hi to the Rob Dibble
Absolutely.
Show. We're going to be out here today through Sunday. Normal time for our weekday show, 3 to 7, and then Saturday, Sunday, we'll be here in the morning before really the big part of the field gets off the course, 10 a.m. to noon, and we're back in our old spot, man. We're back in the concession
where I started 9 years
fan
ago,
zone.
right on this spot.
So we've got a pretty good look at the putting green, and actually we're almost too close, Dibs. I'm worried about our voices, worried about being too loud.
You're worried about my voice.
Yeah.
'Cause, before you even got
True.
here, VJ Singh used to want to come up here and hit me with his club.
So good news, no VJ Singh here at the tournament this year. But we have had, I don't know if we've gotten any looks or not. We're always amazed at the practice green, though. Just the little toys that the boys bring out here.
Let's describe this because it's cool.
All right.
There's some guys that have like mirrors that they put on the ground so they can see their swing and make sure that their putter is level when it's coming through the ball and stuff. Then you have other guys. Where's the one? I don't see it. It kind of looks like an old train track.
It's like a croquet train track.
Exactly.
Now, is he trying to go underneath that train track?
Some are going underneath it, but some he's hitting it and trying to make it just go in a straight line.
I have no
and stay
idea
on there.
exactly what we're doing with the train track.
It's like a
but out
touch.
there.
It's all about touch and getting that kind of like a pendulum free flow, and then you have other one. And okay, so the poor man's guide would be mine. The caddy puts in 2 tees.
Right.
All right, try to hit it between these 2 tees, bro.
Exactly. That's the old school way. Now we have actually things that were made for that little, drill.
There's guys I could see guys right now. They have like the little pole. Like it's like a yard marker, but it's
what
the
you
golf
put in
yard
the
marker.
corner of your yard so nobody drives through your yard making a right turn. It's one of those little sticks. You can get them at Home Depot.
But
think
if I painted a certain color, it now belongs to the PGA.
Yeah, if you painted it hot yellow, I think is the neon yellow is the PGA Tour color. But I do think that Home Depot and Lowe's got a lot of business from these caddies yesterday because they were out there not only
absolutely.
buying those things, but I've seen actual mini levels, with the plum in the middle to see where the bubble goes. And these dudes this is practice green. It's not 1 through 18. On the practice green, these dudes are laying down the plum level to see which way they need to go to make the break.
But if you're a caddy and you're making some good money,
you think they're doing that just to say, hey, I'm working here?
I'm working here. I'm justifying my existence
They're
right here.
justifying their existence.
Dude, they put down iPhones. They put down little video cameras. Because I'm going to go back and I'm going to study your stroke.
Of course.
I'm going to study that putting stroke.
They are the analytic nerds of golf.
Now,
That's what you're telling me.
The other guys that are justifying their existence for Strixon and
Swing
Ping
Coach?
and Taylor.
Oh, no, you're talking about the brands.
The brands. The brands are here with their putters and their drivers.
They're trying
and
to
the
talk
next couple
everybody
of days,
into
I think
it.
they leave Wednesday. Did
Yeah.
they get their butts out of here Wednesday at the
Yeah.
Pro-Am? So right now they're showing you all the new technology that they have. Maybe your old 20-year-old putter that won so many majors for Tiger. Hey, check these out, and you're trying all the new stuff.
So true.
So right now there's probably a couple of hundred new putters out there that you're not even seeing on the market yet that these guys get. See, now, and that's the beauty. Even when I was in the major leagues, and I was telling John, Ashmead before, that the glove companies would all come in and try to get you to come to their company. So I was with SSK.
Yeah.
Oakley would come in with their glasses and stuff. But Rawlings, Wilson, all the big names would come in and be like, Rob, try this glove, try this glove, try this glove. And that's what today, tomorrow, and Wednesday morning is all about.
For the pros, yeah.
Hey, maybe, you haven't been, the best putter on tour. Maybe if you use this ping club instead of your tailor-made putter, it'll get it done. So, yeah, there's also a lot of networking going on right now.
I just really like where this tournament is in the PGA calendar. Hopefully it stays. We don't know what the future holds in 2024, but it being right after the U.S. Open, you can kind of see how it evolves into the field that it is. Like you're saying, a lot of people that were in the cut, or especially playing late yesterday, Rory McIlroy included, by the way, who is our runner-up, those guys probably ain't going to get here for a while. But if you miss the cut and you're upset about how you played, you are on the first plane to Cromwell, and you have been here in the morning trying to make it happen and get right. The field is one of the best fields the Travelers has ever had.
Absolutely.
I've heard that the rankings amongst everyone as a world golf ranking, it is one of the top fields that you will see on the PGA Tour this year.
So let me put this to you. All right, so this tournament now is one of the elevated tournaments,
right.
Cash money.
Right.
The purse is $20 million. Next week is 8.8, 7.4 after that, then 3.8, then 9, 3.8, 8.1. So just in the next couple of months, there's not the kind of purse that you're seeing with the Travelers. Now,
right.
you're going to be rewarded for good shots, penalized for bad shots. We know all that stuff. But now you're going to be paid handsomely to finish first, second, third. So I would never want to miss this payday.
Right.
There's no way, because now all the other ones, now I'm scuffling to make the 1.6 or the 1.3, and they're still working the same amount, and they're still doing all the other stuff. So I think with the elevation of this tournament and the reason why Andy Bissett wants it to stay that way, even with the merger, is because it draws in your top players. You do not want to miss a big payday.
For sure, and just to stack on top of that, these are FedEx Cup points as well.
500
this week,
points for the winner.
and it's one of the best tournaments to score those points. The FedEx Championship at the end of the year will be even bigger money for these guys, so you want to stack up those points and move up those standings. But that being said, we've known Andy Bissett and Nathan Grube as some of the best tournament directors on the PGA Tour, not only because how they take care of the community, how they give back to charity, but really first and foremost how they treat these PGA players.
Absolutely.
And it's totally
not just
recognized.
the players, their families.
Oh, yeah.
Their caddies,
right.
their entourage. Everybody is treated equally here, and that's the beauty of the Travelers.
So when you're talking about them getting an elevated status, of course you and I are super pumped about it. But people like Rory McIlroy reaching out to Andy Bissett and saying, man, I'm so glad your guys' tournament got it. Because they knew they were coming here anyway, based on the relationship.
Right.
Forget the money. But based on the relationship, they're coming here anyway. You put that kind of purse on it, it's a no-brainer for guys like Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, to name a few. So when they got that tournament status, those phone calls were so easy to make for this group to set this field up. We got Pro-Am going on right now. Now, it's not the celebrity Pro-Am. It's just regular Pro-Am. I've seen a couple of the players on the course. People are really trying to get dialed in.
And it's practice play, too.
Right. So
Some of these guys can get a practice round.
Throw your ball in the sand trap and see what it feels like.
Hit 4 of them.
It's so fascinating.
But you also have the play-in Ellington. So,
right.
So one lucky golfer, right?
Four.
No,
four spots.
4 spots are open for the taking right now. So the 4 lowest scores after today will get an exemption to play in the Travelers on Thursday.
And you never know who that's going to be.
Right.
It was Chase Koepka a couple of years ago, and I do believe that was a COVID situation, right? Chase's caddy had ended up getting COVID.
They couldn't play.
So he won, or he got, I think it was second in that tournament. So he got the exemption status, but then his caddy got COVID. So not only did Chase, but also Brooks that year had to bow out. I think we're talking 2021.
Remember the phrase abundance of caution?
It was abundance of caution. I do remember the phrase. How could I forget? But Who knows? Who knows
Right.
who's going to come off that? I think that's one of the beauties about the PGA Tour, and I know that's going to be a theme this week of some of the things that we love, we never want to see leave the PGA Tour, and the ability for anyone to walk up to Ellington Country Club today and be a top 4 scorer to play at Travelers, I think is a beauty of this week, beauty of what the PGA Tour has going on.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Let's talk some more. And from the money-making opportunities, if you want to place a little bit of money, Cam Rogers does a handicapping podcast called Lock It In, and we will talk golf with Cam Rogers next on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell. We are live from the Travelers Radio deck, brought to you by Big Y.